Okay, good evening. The August 19th, 2024 regular meeting of the Library Advisory Commission is called to order. Would the Assistant Management Analyst call roll for determination of a quorum, please?
Chair Meeker.
Present.
Vice Chair Gultera is absent. Commissioner Gavitt. Present. Commissioner Macias is absent. Commissioner Hicks.
Present.
Let the record reflect all commissioners present with the exception of Vice Chair Gultera and Commissioner Macias with excused absences.
Okay, thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's move on to the approval of the agenda. Commissioners, are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay, seeing none, may I call for a motion and a second, please?
I motion to approve the agenda.
And
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Slight hiccup. Be patient, sorry. Okay, let's move on to the administrative update. Library Manager Rosellis, are there any staff?
Chair Meeker, just a moment, please.
I'm sorry?
I need to say that the motion carries unanimously, 3-0.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I got a little ahead of you. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, then let's move on now to the administrative update. Library Manager Rosellis, are there any staff updates?
Thank you, Chair Meeker. We have 3 presentations tonight for the administrative update. So the first one is going to be on Lunch at the Library by Jolene Vert, Library Services Supervisor. Afterwards, we'll do an update on the children's library expansion and then the general library update. So I'd like to invite Jolene to come up here.
Hello. Good evening. There we go. Please excuse my voice. I'm coming off of a little bit of a cold there. So I'm here to present the Lunch at the Library program that we offered this summer. We were very excited to be able to participate in this program that helps tackle food insecurities within the community during the summer months. We had wanted to do this program for some time, but in the past were roadblocks with staffing and that kind of stuff, so and grants. So this is the first year we were able to apply for the grant, and we were very excited to be able to offer it. There we go. Okay. So our primary objective with this program, first of all, between Agnes and I and Katie, the other supervising librarians, we attended various state library meetings to learn more about the program and the impacts that it was having in other California communities. We spoke to other libraries that were successful offering the service, and we applied for the California State Library grant for Lunch at Your Library. The next step was to be able to achieve our goals. We needed to be able to partnership with an entity that provided nutritional services. So Agnes contacted Jill Lancaster, who's the Director of Nutritional Services at MVUSD, and Jill did her research to see how it would impact and how if we qualified for this program, and agreed to partner with us. So the nutritional services aspect of the program was funded through a grant that was separate. Our grant was through the California Library, and the nutritional portion was a grant through USDA's Summer Food Service Program. The funds applied allowed us to achieve our goals, which was to provide nutrition meals to the community of Murrieta, and to provide learning enrichment activities for Murrieta families during the summertime. So this is a list of how we utilize the grant funds, and I'll go through. So we had, we utilized, we had other smaller things, but the bulk of the amounts went for books, crafts, supplies, presenters, promotionals, and carts. So how did we execute the plan? We carefully considered staff, time, logistics, and projected outcomes. We wanted to make sure that when we did this program that it was going to be of a benefit and it was going to be worth all of the effort and everything that we put into this program. And we all had a big stake in it because it's important. It was important us to be able to offer this service to the members of the community. We also had to think thoughtfully about, because this is during the summertime, would we have enough staff and resources to not only do this effectively, but this is the first year that we were able to go fully back into the summer reading challenge. So we had to be able to determine if we could balance both effectively with neither one suffering and both having positive outcomes, which we were able to achieve through divide and conquer. So we have 3 departments within the library, as you know, and so we figured out how many we could realistically commit to, how many enrichment activities, and then we divided those up between the 3 departments to be able to offer the enrichment activities to go along in line with the nutritional services. We also had to think carefully about how we use the funds. We actually asked for a smaller amount in the beginning, and then the state library came back to us and said, we actually have this extra. And of course, we were like, that's fantastic. And we took that and used that to bulk up some of the things that we were doing, which was really great. And also helped a lot more on some of those. We could do some prepaid craft things, which kind of saved staff time because they were already put it together, purchased that way, then to buy piece by piece and have staff time put it together. So very thoughtfully, we decided to do the plan, and it worked. In the picture here is a picture of 3 of the carts that we purchased with the Lunch at Your Library program money. They worked out great. They're like little shopping carts. They fold up really small, so storage space is an issue at the library. So they fold up into almost like a small stroller size, and we pop them up. And because the lunch portion of this program was across the street at the school, it made transporting all of the supplies that needed to go back and forth regularly very easy and convenient for staff to be able to do that. So those are some of our great staff members that helped out so much. So we can't do any of these things a lot of times without our partners. So in this, this is our list of partners for this program. We had the Murrieta Valley Unified School District Nutritional Services, the California State Library, who provided resources, surveys, a lot of the information and promotional materials that goes out for flyers, as well as the funding. The Friends of the Library also helped out, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. So the nutritional services for Murrieta Valley Unified School District provided this, because the space, so they were able to open, even with the construction, which was great, they were able to open up their lunchroom to offer this program. So they provided the space, the meals, the staff that was needed to prepare the meals and clean up and have everything ready for the students and to serve and do all of that. And then they also worked with community farms. There was 3 community farms to bring together a farm-to-table element, which was a requirement for the grant through the USDA and through Lunch at Your Library. And so they were able to work with local community members who own farms and bring in locally sourced food with a farm-to-table element, so the kids could learn more about how the community members that are farmers contribute to our food sources. And they also helped with advertising through their websites and through school, like their peach jar and ways for them to put out flyers and get it out to the students. The Friends of the Murrieta Library provided coupons that allowed us to give books to the, and I want to make sure I don't miss something here, so I'm going to go back to my notes. The grant, one of the grant restrictions for this was that the books and the food could only be used for children and teens 18 and under. So we kind of foresaw that adults usually, they probably wouldn't mind that much, but we wanted something for adults too, because they're bringing their kids here, it's a family affair, they're having community time, spending time together. And we also want the adults to feel part of that as well. So the Friends agreed to offer coupons, which they created and gave us to be able to hand to the adults so that the adults could bring those coupons to the library bookstore and receive a free book for themselves as well. Because it's really important to foster that spirit of creating a family of readers, right? So we wanted something for the adults to be able to participate in with that as well. And the Friends did a great job helping us out with that aspect, because none of the grant funds could be used on that. Part of the reason for the books was part of the grants is to help families also grow their home libraries. So at each of these, other than the enrichment programs, we also had free books for students all ages from preschool. We had board books all the way up to chapter books and just a large range of items from 0 to 18. So every time they came to free lunch, they also got a book to take home with them and add to their home libraries as well. Let's see. So we were so pleased with the outcomes. It came, when we went into this, we knew it was going to make an impact, but when you see the actual impact and the families and the faces and the kids and the parents, we had such positive responses and hardly, I mean, we really didn't have any negative responses out of this, which is really incredible. People were really happy to be there. And it really did foster a sense of community. So through this, we were able to provide well-balanced meals. We helped the community with having food available for the kids. We had skill-building exercises. They had coloring sheets and crafts and cutting and all kinds of fun things like that. And then, of course, they had the free books that I talked about earlier to grow their home libraries. These are just a few of the quotes from the surveys, but I want to tell you just a couple of really great stories that happened because they just stand out so much. First of all, if you really want to know what's what, I recommend you ask the 6 to 12-year age group because we had 388 surveys that were filled out. At every enrichment, we had surveys for people to fill out with the various questions. This is kind of what they look like. They were provided by the libraries. This is a couple that I just brought that were filled out. And it was just basic questions about how they felt about the program, what they were learning from the program, and anything else they'd like to share. There's some like 7 or 8-year-olds that are like, one of the questions is there anything else you'd like to tell us? And one kid says, I'm funny. So those are fun. But they also had some very great feedback too. 6 to 12-year-olds really want to share their opinions. And along with that, there was some stories of like, I was at a majority of these, and there was one young boy that I encountered. He was a preschooler, and he was there with mom. And she came up, and I was like, oh, how did you enjoy your lunch? And he was really happy, big smiling. And the mom goes, this was great. He goes, this is the first time he ever got to try a pickle. And I was like, really? How exciting. I was like, did you love what did you think about your pickle? And he was like, I loved it. And she was like, yes, this is so great because right now I don't have it within my means or the budgeting to be able to try new things. So we're not going to the grocery store and buying anything that they might not like, right? We're buying the things that we know are gonna be eaten. And so this was just a really fun thing for him to be able to try things, and I can go buy him some pickles because he likes them. They're not gonna go to waste or anything. So that was a super heartwarming story. One of the other things that's important is whether we did just the small coloring pages or we did the full-on presentation with Annie Banani teaching them how to do balloon animals or whatnot, everyone was really impacted. There was a young girl who came up, and I was like, and she had been there. There were some families that went every day. They were there every day. And there were some families that were kind of, they picked a day of the week, and there were some that were intermittent. And there was one girl who had been pretty much every time I'd been there. And I said, what was your favorite thing? She was like, oh, we're so glad this was for the summer. I said, what was your favorite thing about the whole thing? She was like, the coloring pages. And the mom was like, but what about the animals? And what about this? And she was like, and the little girl's like, the coloring pages. So whether it's something that's large that we do or something that's small, it still does have a positive impact. One of the successes that we weren't expecting is the fact that there were a lot of students who were just going to begin starting school, and they were learning cafeteria etiquette and they got a sneak peek of what their school was going to look like. And a lot of the community members really felt like a sense of belonging there. Out of the 388, out of the 388 responses from the surveys that we got, 386 said that they felt welcome and safe in that environment, which is, I think, one of the most telling things about the importance of these kind of programs. I think that's that. I hope I'm not leaving anything out. So that was the program. We're hoping for a second serving. We're not quite sure yet. Some of the funding with the state budget cuts, Lunch at the Library has been impacted. We believe that MVSD will still be able to get the funding from USDA, but we're unsure about our portion with the enrichment activities. But we're hoping for the best. We're very fortunate because our community doesn't have as large of a population, as we still do have a population of food insecure, but not to some of the levels. So the competition for next year's grant may be a little stiffer, but we'll do our best and see if we can bring it back to the community next year, because I feel like it was an overwhelming success. We agreed to do 12 enrichment programs. So the school district the MVSG, the nutrition program, they served lunches every day in the summer from June 12th to July 26th. So that was all from when school went out to like the week before they went back, with the exception of Juneteenth and the 4th of July. And we committed to go 12 times, and we just had such a positive experience and so many things to offer and such good feedback. We ended up over delivering, and we did 16, which were fantastic, and everyone had a great time. All the staff who participated enjoyed it very much. So that's all I have on that. And if you have any questions, I'm open to whatever.
No, I just wanted to say that was a huge undertaking, so much coordinating. That's remarkable. I must have missed, and I was really listening. Where did you get the participants? How did they sign up?
So it wasn't a sign up, it was a drop in. So we had, we advertised, we had signage, we had some of those big feather flyers that were out during what we would approach people in the library and say, hey, did you know we had lunch across the street? So it was heavily advertised through both parties, as far as like all of our social medias and that kind of thing. And then once word of mouth got out, then it was just kept going. So they didn't have to sign up. As long as you were between the ages of 0 to 18, you could just go in with your family and receive your female. We ended up serving, I believe, we don't have the full numbers yet from the school district, but our average was about 75 to 100 a day. There were some days where it would be like 50 or 60, and some days where it got up to like 186. So it just depended on the day, but our average was feeding about 75 to 100 students per day.
That's fabulous. My gosh, that's so exciting. What a connection they all made.
It was great.
Sounds so successful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's remarkable.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we will go on to the next presentation for the administrative update. We will do the library expansion portion. And I will be giving this presentation. So. Okay, so a little bit of history, just as a refresher. The library was built in 2007, originally with a 2,700 square foot children's section that we have right now. But there was always a plan to a phase two to the building program, which was contingent on funding. So we were fortunate enough to receive the Building Forward grant. That's the grant that we received back in 2023 that provides us with $1.5 million in state funds along with a required city match of 50%. So that's what the number you see there. So what is the progress that we've made so far? So just to remind you all, in June 2023, we had a contract with SVA. They're our current design architects. Then we've held several visioning workshops in July and August of 2023, which a few of you were a part of, and thank you for your valuable input. It was very crucial for us to design something that the community wanted and needed, right? And so in September to November 2023, we refined the design. January 2024, City Council confirmed that this was a project priority with a $6 to $6.5 million budget. And then April 2024, SVA completes the designs. May 2024, SVA produces some value engineering options, some options that did not cost as much. And then just recently in June 2024 at the City Council meeting, which I think some of you were there, the City Council approved additional funding, which raised the overall program budget to $7.05 million. So the design that they settled upon at that council meeting was the 4,500 square foot design, again, $7 million. This is the renderings. If you remember, originally the MPRs at Plan Side South were originally up at the top, but we flipped them due to the default setback line, so we wouldn't have to have a angle to the building. So that's the only change. Other than that, we did have a makerspace, but we could potentially repurpose our current lab into a makerspace, so that hits that particular need. And these are just some renderings of the outside. That's what it would look like, kind of looking from, I guess, Plan Southwest. And if you just kind of move to the north, that's what it would look like from that side. And then this is the exterior, fully designed exterior. The current funding does not fund the exterior, but we're hoping to raise additional funds, and you'll see that in the funding mechanisms. So what does the project budget include? This is just a breakdown that includes annual escalators, construction contingency, design costs, project management, FF&E. We're remodeling the current space, and then, of course, permitting and inspection fees. So with all that, that's how we got the $7 million total. Now, project funding. As I mentioned earlier, we do have the Building Forward grant. We do have the matching funds, and then we have additional library diff, which is another 752. And so what council approved at that last meeting was an interfund loan of from future diff sources for an additional 3.5 million. And then the last but not least, private fundraising donations, which is being coordinated by our Murrieta Public Library Foundation. Well, here's a slide on the fundraising, right? So it's going to be led by the foundation, or it is being led by the foundation. Fundraising events are currently being planned. Staff will approach private donors, and our goal is $550,000. This will be used for the construction of the building itself, and anything in excess of $550,000 will allow us to fund the garden space to its full potential and design, and donations must be committed by February 2025. And so speaking of fundraisers, the Murrieta Public Library Foundation is currently doing or conducting a fundraiser on September 4th. It's going to be hosted by Bernie Truex and of course the foundation. The date's going to be Wednesday, September 4th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And this will be located at the Truex building rooftop. And this is going to be in Temecula. The address is on there. And hors d'oeuvres and cocktails will be served. And RSVPs, the deadline for that will be August 30th. And you have the QR code right there for anybody, any members of the public interested in helping this fundraiser and attending this event. So what are our next steps? So now that we've gotten clear direction from council at the last meeting, we are now developing the construction documents that we're doing design development right now and looking at FF&E and eventually putting together some bid documents up until February 2025. And then council will review project design before the bid process in February 2025. Then the construction bid process will start up until May 2025. We award the construction, and then the estimated construction start date would be July 2025. The deadline that we are working with is particularly with the grant funds, and so those funds have to be expended by March of 2026. So we will front load those funds at the very beginning and then expend the rest of the funds as we proceed through the project. And we hope and anticipate that completion of construction will be in August 2026. So that's just a brief update. Just wanted to get you all up to speed. I'd be happy to answer any questions or receive any comments from the commission. Thank you. Oh.
The design, is that like what it's really going to look like now? Because before we had the butterfly, both sides, and it looks like it has half.
Yes, that's
Half a
correct. Yeah,
butterfly?
unfortunately, but the butterfly roof was one of the features that was cut due to budget constraints. So if we go back to the design here, yeah, you'll see that the butterfly roof isn't there, but we still think it looks visually appealing.
Yeah, looks
does.
great.
So you got that rendering, and then this side. So it still has characteristics and looks like it was, the intent was to make it look like it was never an addition, that it
Yes.
flows seamlessly from the old building into the new expansion area. And so we thought that this completes it quite nicely. Obviously, we would have loved to have the butterfly roof, but it was just too expensive considering the rise in constant rise in construction costs.
I love the looks of it. Looks like it's always been there. It's just a perfect flow. Just melds into our landscape that we already have.
Yes, yeah,
It's not sticky outy or, no, it's perfect. I love it.
thank you. Yes,
Thank you, Melvin. How exciting.
yes, very exciting. We're excited to continue to move the project forward, and thank you for your continued support throughout this entire process.
Thank you.
Okay, you want?
Nope, no more.
Okay. Okay, so that will conclude that portion, and then last but not least is our general library update.
Okay, yes, yeah.
And I'll be giving that presentation again.
Yeah, Tag, you're it.
Without Jolene, I'm a one-man show here. So. Okay, so just some general updates for the commission. We completed our summer reading challenge, and as you know, this is an annual reading incentive program that we keep kids reading throughout the summer to prevent the summer slide, so that they can continue to keep their reading skills up to par as the summer continues. So when school starts, they're ready to hit the ground running, right? And so there was a slew of programs, very hard to choose from. So I decided to put statistics up here and show you those. And so I just kind of put a comparison of what we did last year as opposed to what we did this year. So the statistics for last year are up at the very top, and the statistics for this year are up at the bottom. So some of the things to highlight are just the comparisons by the totals. So if you look at the reading program participants, you can see that we had an additional 42% sign up for the program. So that resulted in an additional 976 people participating in the reading challenge itself. That also resulted in a higher number of books being pledged to read. So you can see that we had a 33% increase with an additional 8,000 books being read. And then program participation. Last year we had 2,300. This year we had 3,600. And so we had additional participation of an increase of 57% with 1,332 people attending. And I didn't highlight this on the side, but if you look at the column that says number of library programs in person, you can see that we've also significantly increased our offerings. So that's to say that we had a very successful summer reading challenge. We kept the kids running, kept the kids and families entertained, including teens and adults. So that also includes some of them, but the bulk of it is children and families. And I just wanted to also, give credit to our staff. Our staff is so innovative and hardworking, as you can see with Jolene just talking about one portion of the summer reading program, Lunch at the Library. But the staff worked so hard throughout the entire summer, providing them programs, dealing with the large crowds. You should have seen it after Lunch at the Library was done. They would go over there, have their lunch, and they would all come back into the library, and it was. Well, it was a nice time. A lot of people were in the library. Let's just say that, and I also want to give credit to also our friends of the Murrieta Library. Right, so these 85 programs that we do are due to their hard work in the two bookstores, the one over at Los Alamos and the one over here at Town Square. So the corner bookstore and the one here. So. For those of you watching online, if you do get a chance to visit those bookstores, please visit them and support them, because what they do directly impacts the programming that we do here at the library. So really a big thank you to the friends at the Murrieta Library. So that's Summer Reading Challenge. Empowering Access Project. So we recently received a grant for one ADA accessible privacy booth is what you see pictured there. So that is installed going towards the Heritage Room, kind of like where the study carrels are at, if you're familiar with the library layout. And so this booth is nice because it's ADA accessible. Somebody with a mobility device or a wheelchair can use this space, and we treat it just like a study room. So you come up to the reference desk, book it like as if it was one of the study rooms, and then you have a soundproof booth to conduct your business in. And this is great for telehealth or people that have interviews or potential meetings, Zoom meetings, especially in this day and age where those are much more commonplace online. This is a great space and venue to conduct those kind of meetings. And in addition to the ADA accessibility privacy booth, we did also receive 10 portable solar charging devices, and I did not picture them here, but they're basically solar panels, and you can put a device inside of it, and it can charge it, whether it be an iPad, an Android device. And so if you take it out and about, you go hiking or you go, anywhere where the sun is shining, then you can charge your device. So that's a really cool feature of this grant. So thank you to the California State Library for that opportunity. And they did this with a partnership with Southern California Library Cooperative. New program that is coming up is 1,000 books before kindergarten. Now this is also a free reading incentive. And this just started on August 14th. And basically it's to promote reading specifically to the younger ages, the newborns, the infants, the toddlers, right? And to encourage their parents or caregivers to read to their child. And so, and bond through that reading. And so caregivers can read any books, and they can count the ones that they do at story time, if they come to the library, any of those books count. But 1,000 books to their child before kindergarten. So that's the goal, right? And so you can visit the library, sign up, and then you can start earning prizes just for reading to your child. So we want to encourage that early literacy really starts at those really younger ages, and it continues throughout life. So if you start people off at the very beginning, they're more likely to have a more successful life going down the road. So this is what this program really addresses. And we would like to give a thank you to the Temecula Valley Women's Club for providing a generous donation, and as well as the Friends of the Murrieta Library. So we thank them for their continued support, and without them we wouldn't be able to do this program here. American Library Association Conference and the American Library Magazine. So at our last meeting, I think we hadn't gone to the conference, but we went to the conference. The presentations were very successful. We had 3 presentations from the Murrieta Public Library at ALA, the American Library Association Conference, and it was a big honor for us. Having that heavy of a presence at a national conference is huge for us. And granted, it was in San Diego, but even if it is just in San Diego, to have 3 presentations of the same library at this conference speaks volumes to the work that our staff is currently doing. So just a reminder, we had Rita, Agnes, Sandra, Solace, and Katie Calameti do a presentation on Library for All, which is our programming for adults with disabilities. And then Catherine Miller provided a presentation on planting the future, promoting biodiversity in your community. And she was instrumental in instituting our seed library and our current butterfly garden, pollinator garden that's out there right now. And then also Ashley Begay, who presented on ACEs and adverse childhood experiences and somatic healing and resilient communities. And she did an amazing sound bath with one of her guest presenters, and they did a program just recently for kids and adults, and it's just a fantastic program, really. And then last but not least, I wanted to highlight that the Library for All presentation, the one presented by Agnes and Sandra and Katie, was actually featured on the American Library magazine. So that was quite an honor for them, and we're so proud of them and the work that they did. I was at their presentation, and the room was filled, I'd say, with at least about 200 people, and it was just, everybody was fully engaged, and it was just one of the, honestly, in my opinion, I think the best presentation that I've seen at ALA. So, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, but you probably don't believe that, but but I literally, you know, I've been to many ALAs, and I've been to many presentations, and I felt that it was very engaging, and it speaks to Agnes and her team's abilities and their passion to really help individuals with disabilities and to make them feel welcome and at home at our library. So if you get a chance to look at it, I did put the link over there, or I can always send it to you as well. So a few other library updates before we end this portion. We do have a vacant librarian 1 teen services position. An offer has been made, but we're still going through the hiring process. And we did just hire 2 part-time library pages, but we do anticipate that there's 1 vacancy that will be coming up, and we'll just use the same eligibility list that we used to hire the newly hired 2 pages. And then last but not least, fall programming is beginning in September, so I advise you to look at our website, look at the flyers, look at the calendars. There's just so much going on. It's hard for me to just pick 1 or 2, so just go ahead and take a look at the website. And with that, that's the end of my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions or receive any comments from the commission.
Melvin, thank goodness for your wonderful brain that you have. It's a lot. That's a lot up there. Thank you for everything. I'm so proud of everybody.
Yeah, yes, thank you. And of course, I couldn't do it without the team, and then the support from the friends of the library as well. You know, it truly takes a village, and I think we have an amazing village here.
Well, you're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you support for the summer reading challenge? I mean, exponentially improved numbers this summer. What do you attribute that to, or what do you think?
I think it's the slew of the programming that we offered this year, right? It gets people in the doors, wanting to have fun, signing up for the summer reading program, you know, doing things like lunch at the library, you know, just really kind of going out of the traditional frameworks of what a library does, but becoming more of a community hub for resources, food, even, you know, programming, entertainment, education, you know, all of that in one place, I think really draws people to the library. And I don't have any data on this, but, you know, maybe COVID, you know, maybe that's a thing of the past, hopefully. I don't know, I've heard there's some cases going around right now, but, you know, you know, that's just me kind of thinking about it. But if I were just to think of what we're doing differently at the library, it's definitely the programs that we're providing.
Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. The more you get out there, the more the word spreads and the more people want to be involved. And yeah, nice. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. And really, it's a tribute to the fantastic work of the staff. You know, I just kind of, you know, make sure that they have what they need and I get out of their way. So
Yeah, it's a perfect place to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good, good. Yeah, you guys had a busy summer. Wow.
Yes, very busy summer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The good news is the library is being used. I love that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oops. Okay, I think at this time we can take public comments. Any person may address the Library Advisory Commission on any subject pertaining to city business which does not relate to any item listed on the agenda. Normally, no action may be considered or taken by the Library Advisory Commission on any matter not listed on the agenda, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Madam Assistant Management Analyst, do we have any non-agenda public comments?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have any non-agenda public comments.
Okay, thank you. Then I think we can move on to the consent calendar, approval of items 1 and 2. And as a matter, all matters listed on the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. What are items? So there will be no discussion of these items unless before the governing body votes on the motion to adopt, specific items are removed from the consent calendar for separate motions. So, yeah. Is the consent calendar on our devices here? Can we see what the items are? Yeah, I guess I can pull it up on the agenda.
I did it. Hit agenda. Did you hit agenda? And then hit that? And then hit the
Oh, there we go.
minutes? Maybe double click.
Okay, sorry for the delay. May I call for a motion and a second, please?
I'll make a motion. Accept, please.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries unanimously, 3-0.
Okay, thank you. I think we can move on to the commission member announcements. I think I'll kind of start from the top for the commissioners that are here, if there's anything you'd like to say. Start with Commissioner Gavitt.
I'm fine, yeah.
Commissioner Hicks.
Not at this time, no. Thank you.
Chair Meeker, so I call myself. Yeah, because it says there. I just want to say that I'm it's impressed to see for the library expansion, all the support that you're getting, not just from the community, the Friends of the Library, the Library Foundation here in Murrieta,
The city council.
and the city council. I mean, so much support every time you turn around. So it's exciting to see, you know, it's one thing to have this ambitious project and you support it and you're all behind it, but you've been able to get everybody behind you and helping you out. So I really think this will be successful. I think you'll, you know, knock on wood, we'll reach that 550 plus. I've been at a few events over the last month or two, and I see you guys out there. I see the Murrieta Library Foundation out there fundraising and getting help from City Council. So it's impressive to see the community come together for our library.
Absolutely. Yes, and really a big thank you to the city council for their support as well. So that was a crucial meeting on July 18th, and their continued support is invaluable to the project.
Yes, yep. Okay, I think that's it. Well, good to adjourn. Okay. With no further business, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you so much. Thank you.